And we are live right now. And it's going to be very fun because I have a little bit of a surprise right now. Day 2 of Measure Summit is starting
Fisher.
right now. And we had what you call it, how to say it properly. We have a little bit of an issue, not from my side, but Mercer has lost power at his home in Texas, and Austin, Texas, and he's now on the phone. Although he seems to be frozen right now. So
Yes.
we'll see. We can hear you, Mercer,
Excellent. All right.
but you're frozen. So we'll see. Maybe it will get better
Okay, this
in
is
a
good. So
second here.
I'm gonna try to move around.
Okay. We'll see if that will make a difference.
If I get a better.
But you at least on the still shot you are smiling, so you should be okay. Says your connection is poor, but we'll see. Like even a second ago it just worked, right? So now you're gone again. Anyways,
it did. We literally just did this 5 minutes before, and it worked.
Yeah.
I apologize. I'm trying my best.
Well, at least you're online.
We're also gonna go try to find a Starbucks or something too.
Yeah. So we have some people already in the chat here. Anders already joined us. There's another still shot. So Mercer is outside. We're getting frame rate of 1 per minute here. So and the next frame is expected. It's like the Mars rover, right? So we'll see if Mercer will send us another picture in a few minutes. So really great for some people to join us already. If you're seeing this on any of the social platforms, you can join us at MeasureSummit.com. And there's where we're going to have the first sessions in 1 hour, where we are going to hear from Leah Pika as well. So definitely come over to MeasureSummit.com and you'll be able to participate here in the chat and see. We had a really great chat yesterday. And some great knowledge dropped in there as well. People helping each other out. It was really great. And then also in the sessions itself, we have this thing called One Thing, or it's actually a measurement marketing thing. The one thing that you take away from this. So put it into the chat as a hashtag. That is always welcome here. So it says here, we are still reconnecting with Mercer and the power of Skype, not Stripe. We'll see if this goes. At least you guys can hear me, right? So we'll see if this works. We have Gloros here saying that the stream freezes. Unfortunately, we won't be able to do anything about this right now because this always depends on your connection. And for some people, it seems to be okay. For some people, it seems to be a bit laggy. So unfortunately, we won't be able to do anything about this. Barbara says hi. Julie says that we're coming through loud and clear, which is great. And Jason says Mercer is frozen again. Yes. So to explain the situation again, Mercer is currently on a mobile and he is trying to reconnect because at his location in Austin, Texas, they just lost power and he is trying to get it up and running again. And not he himself, but he needs to wait for it. And so he's took his mobile phone, connected via Skype, and Skype. And then 5 minutes ago, it worked all fine. And then now it's gone. So that's it. So Mercer's video is currently gone, but he will join us from an undisclosed location where he will be talking to us. So we'll see what he's up to. But the audio is all good. Julie says, yay, the Texas weather. So we'll see how that goes. And there's some people here already. So what are you actually going to look forward to today? Let's go through a little overview for today. Gonna switch over here. You can still see Mercer's face, but we will actually also, let me see. Switch over here. We have a new transition going on. Who likes that? And normally I fill these gaps with Mercer just bantering around, but I guess today that won't be the case. So I will just go from here and try to show you. No, where's my presentation gone? My presentation. Okay, I need to just simply add this again. Hold on. 5 seconds. And then we'll be ready to go and look at day. Why is that not working? Okay. When I try to do this, I think you cannot hear me, which is not ideal, obviously. So, here we go. Here's the presentation. Here we go. Okay. So, day number 2 today of Measure Summit. Great that everybody is joining us. What are you looking forward to today? First of all, we will hear from Leah Pika about the Pika protocol. You know, we and Mercer's team too, we love frameworks. So that's always the one that you want to be looking after when it comes to data visualization. Leah Pika is obviously the best, and she will be showing us her Pika protocol. Then afterwards, in just 2 hours, coming up, Erin Seferati of Futurity, and she is going to talk about developing your analytics strategy. This is a talk that I recorded with her, and it was quite interesting because she sees a lot of clients. And then also when you go into an organization, how do you actually sell your analytics implementation to them? What is actually necessary to to implement, and what will you make out of it so your clients then take your findings to heart and actually change something in their business? So that's what we are going to discover in her talk. Then next we'll hear from Stockton Fisher about the Facebook KPI, I always called it, KPI. Stockton has looked into server-side tagging a lot and the Facebook conversion API, and today he's going to present us his findings in his talk about the Facebook conversion API. Let me know if you're excited about this one. And then last but not least, the third talk will be from Talia Wolf about the power of emotion. So Talia is the expert in CRO, conversion rate optimization, or optimization as a whole when it comes to fixing your websites. And she gave a great talk on what it all comes down to. When I would say the magic button in conversion rate optimization, the magic pill that you can swallow in order to get rid of your conversion pains, and that is actually listening to emotions. So for all the men out there, this is something you can learn from as well. So check out this talk, which is coming up as the third one. And then last but not least, my friend Peter O'Neill. Who doesn't know him? He is from ZHS Orchards, but better known, I think, as the founder of Measure Camp as well. So he will be talking about how to do retailer digital analytics and getting the fundamentals right on retailer analytics. So what does it mean? If you are running an e-commerce store, he has really gone through and not only told us what to set up, but then also how to use that data and where it makes sense, in which part of the organization it actually makes sense. So I really enjoyed that talk as well. And this is something you should definitely look forward to. So day number 2 is ready to go, and you will be able to listen to all of these talks from Leah Pika to Erin Seferati, Stockton Fisher, and then Talia Wolf and Peter O'Neill. So definitely check out these talks over the next 6 hours. And yeah, we'll see if we can get Mercer back on so he doesn't stay this still image as he is right now. Now the chat is already, let me go back to the chat here, is already some people already in here. If you are just joining on YouTube or so, get to MeasureSummit.com, log in, and then you will be able to chat with us here. So we have already Tana here as well, which is great. As the Red, hello everyone. Here we go with day 2. Great to have you. Barbara is here as well. And then Mercer is frozen, yes. And Christian is here from New York as well. So hopefully you have better power than the guys in Austin. Maybe Mercer needs to move. We'll see. Maro is also here. Hello from Brighton. Great to have you as well, Maro. And we'll see, there will be a lot more people joining. I think within the hour, nobody wants to hear me just talking. So we'll see if we can make something happen. Cool. Let me talk quickly about the sponsors of this event that make this all happen. And why can't I switch over here? Let me see. This will be right. Okay, really quickly, let's go through a few of our sponsors today. The first one is, of course, Supermetrics. Now, Supermetrics is the glue for your data. I always call it glue for your data. And what you can do with Supermetrics is simply set it up and connect your data to different tools. For example, Google Sheets, you have an add-on that you can get for Supermetrics, and you can download your data directly into a Google Sheet. So you get this little thing on the right side, and then you can choose your data just like in Data Studio, and then it will import that data into your Google Sheet. And you can do more analysis with this as well. I don't know, why is my sponsors gone? Okay, that makes sense. Let's put the video on top right here. Okay, then Supermetrics is our diamond sponsor. Thank you, Supermetrics, for supporting us. And they also have some swag to give away, so you can look forward to that. We'll tell you more about this later on. And then we have our friends at, let me see, Listen Layer. Should have made sure that this actually works before I start doing this. Our friends at Listen Layer have built the world's first and only data layer platform, cloud data layer platform. So it's really easy. You get a code from them. You can sign up for free, by the way. You get a code from them that you install on all your pages. You can deploy this through Google Tag Manager. And then this tool will build the data layer for you. So if you have any kind of forms installed, for example, from HubSpot or from, or you have a WooCommerce store running, it's listening to certain events from these application layers, and it will build the data layer for you so you don't have to build it in yourself or ask a developer to do this. And it's a really cool, flexible tool. And obviously, once you have the data layer set up, you can tag that data and use it in your tags, triggers, and variables and send it on. So definitely check out Listen Layer. And thank you again for Listen Layer for sponsoring our event here. It wouldn't be possible without them. And then obviously, we are also sponsored by... where do we have it? Why is this not working? We are also sponsored by Measure School, which is my company. You can check out our membership at measureschool.com/measuremasters, where we teach this measurement stuff, and we have a cool community going on, some coaching as well. So definitely check that out. And if you have any questions about this, you can also ask in the chat. There's some Measure Masters in the chat as well. And then we also have our friends at Measurement Marketing. at Measurement Marketing. So Mercer is not here to talk about them, but you can head over to measurementmarketing.io. This is obviously Mercer's company and team, and they also provide a membership academy where you can learn all the tools that we are talking about at this conference. Google Analytics, Google Data Studio, Google Tag Manager, and more. So definitely check that out. And if you want to get more of Mercer's goodness, well, his live stream is not quite up to par right now, but he has great stuff in there. So if you can't get enough from him, definitely check that out as well. So we hope we can get Mercer back, and he's not this blurry image right here, but we'll see if we can make this happen in just a few minutes here. Cool. So I'd love to hear from the chat. Maybe we can just go back to the chat here. Where's the chat? We had Maro here from Brighton. We had Emmanuel asked a question. Can't find how to watch the sessions from yesterday. Could you help me? So on the right side here, let me also look over to my screen. So on the right side here, you have the schedule. And you can see everybody who's speaking today, but you can also go back and say day 1. And if you want to watch, for example, Julius's session, you can click here on his name, and that will take you to Julius's page where his session you can replay. But this will be going away in just 1 hour or so. So definitely watch it now if you want to. Or if you are brave enough, you can also go ahead and, well, we don't want to watch the video right now, but you can also go ahead and check out our All Access Pass, which I don't see linked up here. We have it linked up somewhere. That's maybe something we should put into the... okay, up here we have a banner that pops up, so you can grab your All Access Pass. Now I need to make sure that this is not playing. Where you will also get access to all of the goodness from all of the speakers over the next few days, but also from yesterday for a event pricing that is valid right now. So definitely check out the All Access Pass if you want to see all of the sessions, even those that are coming in later. Cool. Mercer is not yet back. We'll see. Kai is also here. Kai will be speaking on the 3rd day, I think. Let me just transition here. Let's see. Kai, great to have you here as well. And thank you for everybody for checking this out. If you already have the All Access Pass, you won't see the link to the top nav. But Julie, the question is, I'm logged out on this browser at least. And anyways. Something to discuss later on. So let me see. I would love to hear for everybody who is here. Are you here for the first time? Have you been there yesterday? Have you been there last year? And what was your biggest learning from yesterday? Which session did you like the most? Maybe you can get a little bit of interaction going here and see if you can make Mercer reappear at some point. Should I call you? Yes. Let me see. I will call him. I don't actually know. No, you don't hear the Skype sound. I'm just like in the Skype sound here. Okay. Test 1 2. Mercer, are you
We're
there?
testing. Are we there?
Wow. Yes. Even good quality. Let me just adjust your video here. Because you're a bit out of frame. What was that?
Thank you to Starbucks for having Wi-Fi right now. We've got neighbors putting on generators all over the place.
Okay.
So this is the first, and this is a true story. I used it. My first job my very first like real job was radio. A lot of people have asked me about, you should be a DJ. I'm like, yeah, I actually was a DJ. That's how I got started. And as a DJ at a radio station, you do a lot of remote broadcast, right? So you sort of just like show up and you deal with stuff all the time. And this is totally reminding me of all of that right now, where I'm like, okay, we are now at Starbucks. We're here live in Austin, Texas. Come on down. Anybody wants free Measure Summit swag? We've got that, which we don't, unfortunately. But, I know we'll be talking about swag if we haven't already coming up. So thanks, everybody, for the patience. And sorry, Julian, for putting you on. Having to.
I almost ran out of stuff to say. So no, I already did the sponsors, Mercer. I already did the upcoming what we are talking about today, and we already had some interaction going on here in the chat as well. So we have some people online chatting with us. Nora asked here, I've seen the session from last year's through the GTM bootcamp. Yeah, cool to have you back, Nora. And hopefully we will be able to surprise you at this Measure Summit as well. And John says he really loved Ahmad's use of Data Studio for reporting and lead generation. That was awesome. So great. Today you will be probably surprised by what Leah is going to say. This will also be about data visualization. So this will definitely be cool. Just coming up in like 40 minutes or so. So stay tuned for that. And Zared says, welcome back, Mercer. So he is back running around getting coffees for us at Starbucks.
Exactly. So, yes.
We'll see.
We'll take Starbucks orders.
Right.
This is the ultimate Starbucks run. I'm making a Starbucks run for what? 11,000, 12,000 people now? 13,000 people we had. So, yeah, good times.
Good times. Okay. Let me go back to this screen here. And yeah, this actually looks pretty good, I think. Right now. Okay. Well done. I mean, this is now mobile. So, I mean, if you send us your address, Mercer might drive to your place and then pick you up, and we can do some analytics karaoke.
That's exactly carpool karaoke, but like with Measure Summit, right? We could totally do it right now.
Analytics carpool karaoke. So just give us your address in the chat, and then he will be right up your place.
We'll have to find it, but somebody wrote an anthem for Measure Summit last year. And
really?
They put it was all LinkedIn, and it came out over at LinkedIn earlier. It was like a month or two ago. They sort of like brought it back up, and I forget who it was, so I apologize. But it was cool. They did a little Measure Summit anthem. That would have been perfect right now. I could have doing the Measure Summit anthem.
We should definitely have somebody make something for the next Measure Summit as well. Have a little anthem, and then we can play some stuff, and everybody can relax to some music.
Yep, exactly.
Marcy asked, are we going to do crowdsourced notes again? Yes, the link is actually still available. So if you want to check that out, head over to, let me just see where we have this.
Yep. Measure Summit notes.
Notes, yeah. That. Here we go. Now, crowdsourced notes are available at measuresummit.com/notes. And you can contribute and also read the old notes, right?
Exactly right. So day ones are already in there. Day twos, I obviously was setting up this morning when we lost all power and internet and everything else. So I don't have in there the session days and times. So just if somebody could put those in there, but it's the agenda. So and so that's what's missing. That's why it looks like it's just day one, because it is just day one. I would have been putting in day two so we could have little spaces for everybody. But if you could just create that, if you wouldn't mind, chat room and everybody in there that's working in that, it would be a huge help for us, because that's all it is, just follow the same format. But they were incredible notes. Like I was looking at them, and I was looking at them as they got better and better. And then as the second half of the world came on and watched the replay, as it moved through different time zones, like you could just see the quality of the notes is absolutely unbelievable. So thank you again for everybody putting in the time, effort, energy to help each other out, because that's something we all get to keep.
Yeah.
So
I'm just grinning here. I just got an email from Fred. He's our speaker on Friday. He has a great session, and I wrote him an email earlier, something about his session, and he just wrote me an email saying, "Hey, my building the fiber has been cut in my building." So I will be out for today, hopefully just today. I don't know what's going on in the US. Like, I guess the funding run out.
They're talking about an infrastructure bill,
Yeah.
and clearly we're fine. We don't need the extra money. Yeah, like, no, let's get some infrastructure. So
Or
actually,
maybe there's a hack attack. I mean, maybe there's a hack attack. Maybe somebody was like, one of the Russians said, "Yeah, Measure Summit. I don't like what they say about us, so we'll just cut them."
that's definitely probably most likely
At
not.
least,
But I will say this is not the first time. Like, I went through what we call Texas winter here, where we lost power. This is something that probably made news. I think it did make news
yeah,
in Germany.
yeah.
And I were talking earlier, where we lost power, we lost water, we lost everything for like 4 days because we're in Texas. We're on our own grid, which is normally a good thing, unless it's not. Which right now it is not a good thing, or we'd be sucking power from some other state, but we can't. So when the power goes down, like in our little area, we're just kind of stuck. So it's just one of the limitations you work with. But I'll tell you what, if this is any lesson for anybody, it's whenever you think like, oh, I don't know if I can write that extra ad I need to do, or I don't know if I can figure out this tag manager trigger, or this is so frustrating trying to figure out how to measure for this dashboard to make it look good. Just remember this and be like, all right, if those guys can run a summit with whatever it now is, 12,000 or some odd registrations, and we had 5,000 on live stream yesterday, and then of course that double that probably for the replay. If we can do this, traveling around different parts and pieces, you can set up that trigger. You can master Data Studio. You can get measurement down.
Jason says, Measure Summit on tour. Yeah, it's a tour. It's a. Didn't you see us live? We can just say like, yeah, it's a live event.
Right.
But nobody came, just online. So.
This is the first Measure Summit live event. It's in my car. I still have 2 seats available. Somebody might be local and call me out on that.
Okay, to be honest, what happened here is like, not enough people bought the All Access Pass, so Mercer is riding Uber right now. So any minute here, you he's riding Uber and
passenger like, okay,
I'll
have to do another one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, anyways, we'll see. We'll see how it goes, and hopefully you'll be up running in no time as well.
That easy day. I have one other backup plan. So and I'll tell you, this is how my brain thinks. I'm fairly systems oriented, as I'm sure a lot of people are here as well, and think it's sort of like backup to the backup to the backup. So I had battery backups for the computer, for everything. We were rendering videos this morning, getting everything ready. And that's when we lost power about an hour before kind of showtime, this pre-show. So the batteries all of a sudden kick in, and I'm like, well, that's not great. They're not going to last me an hour. But then various parts of the internet started going down. That's when we sort of lost it. So I'm like, okay, we'll do backup to the backup, which is we'll do this through mobile, and I can pull up the signals. Julian and I tested it. It worked fine before the live broadcast. And then, of course, when we actually went live, the whole thing, took a different turn. So we're like, okay, backup to the backup. We're going to go to Starbucks, which is where we currently are at. I've got one more place that I'm actually kind of excited. And that's where I'm going to head during one of the sessions, because I don't know if I want to the Starbucks parking lot and do this all day long, but I have one other place that I hope will be a lot of fun if it works out. That'll be the ultimate backup. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, we'll. It's probably in Disneyland or somewhere. It's like,
right.
or he goes into his famous garage and then he shows us his books and his Lamborghini, and then we are all like, yeah, right. I'm just chilling out in my garage with my books and my Lamborghini.
It's like this.
We'll see. John says maybe we should check Mercer's location IP and check his car for wire cutters. Yeah, he's probably one of these guys.
Took out Fred's fiber.
Yeah.
I know I'm not the only one. Yeah,
we'll see
exactly.
what will happen to me today. So we'll see. Okay, we have some cool things coming up. Maybe we go through a little bit of presentation here again, just so everybody knows who is waiting online to see what we have cooking up over the last few days. Let me go back to our presentation here. So the first one will be Leah Pika. Maybe we can talk about this again. Starting from scratch, actually. And so we are Measure Summit Day 2. And today we'll be talking about, first of all, the Pika protocol with Leah Pika, obviously. Mercer, you did this one.
I did, yeah. I worked with Lee on this one. So she did a fantastic job breaking down, and she's a returning champion, right? So she came in from
Absolutely.
2020, coming back to 2021. And she went through how to tell a story and presentation last year. We were a little bit focused on that. This year, she sort of took that up with a more structured level with this Pika protocol, which is kind of what she's famous for. And it's absolutely foundational, I think, to really good design and really good data storytelling. And you'll see what she did. It was really entertaining going through it as she is, because everyone that watched Leah's last year knows what Leah is capable of. And it was just absolutely imperative to watch this one from a standpoint of maybe like Data Studio and designing your dashboards, because some really good tips there, but it's in presenting that data and making it relevant, actually making sure that it does tell a story, not so much that you understand what's going on, but that you can communicate that to others. And there were some incredible tips that she gave to actually do that, to make sure that the data has a story, that story lands with your stakeholders. So incredible presentations. I cannot speak highly enough about that.
Cool. Next up, we have Aaron Seferati on developing your analytics strategy. So I did this one with Aaron, and it was really great because she sees a lot of clients in her practice as, I wonder what her position name was again. It was some kind of lead, or sorry for forgetting, but she sees a lot of clients and helps them out with their data, obviously. So how do you now get an organization also involved in your analytics process? Because without any buy-in from the client, it's really hard to do analytics as a whole. So she really breaks it down how to take your the strategy planning of going from a business strategy to the actual analytics strategy, and how the analytics strategy can then support this overarching goal of your organization. So she breaks it down and goes through the steps with us, which is always helpful, because a lot of people get stuck by maybe just implementing something and then they don't really know how to bring the business value in the end, which this presentation should definitely solve. And then we go on to Stockton Fisher.
Stockton, our buddy Stockton came in. So Stockton was one of the early, I mean, Stockton, I know Stockton. He's, part of both of our training programs. And he was one of these early adopters. What I like about Stockton is he rips into stuff. He doesn't just sort of read what the support docs say, though obviously that's a thing when it comes to Facebook and Conversions API, otherwise known as CAPI, CAPI. I'm sure many people are familiar about. And that happened when everybody was doing the iOS 14.5, when that happened earlier this year. And really digging into it and seeing what can happen with it. How you use it with Tag Manager. How does server side go through? What are some things you've got to watch out for when it comes to this CAPI protocol? Because there's a lot of people that started using Facebook's Conversions API, but doing it in incorrect ways. A lot of agencies did that. Where they're seeing all these purchases come in, where it's like, yay, we're making a bunch of purchases, but it was wrong. It was because they had implemented things wrong, and Facebook's overcounting purchases, which of course hurts the conversion optimization that they can help you with. And of course, it's just bad numbers, right? It's not particularly useful information if you're doing that. So he goes through a lot of the things that you've got to look out for when it comes to that. So again, that was a fantastic one from Stock.
I'd love to hear from the chat if there's anybody who has already been implementing the Facebook conversion API. I actually had like 2-3 nightmares now with people who click that button on Facebook, right? So Facebook tells you in the interface, hey, set this up. And then they click that button and it's like, oh yeah, and then here Google Tag Manager and so on. And they just install something automatically and then something doesn't work. But it's super hard to figure out what doesn't work, because Facebook sets up some triggers, sets up some tags. It's really confusing. So I wouldn't recommend to do this because it actually takes a little bit longer time to get through it and try to figure it out, because Facebook, I don't know.
Any Facebook horror stories that would be good to put in chat. Like even if it was like an agency or working with somebody else who was like, yeah, we figured out this was going on. It'd be cool to hear what other people have gone through.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go on. And then after Stockton, we have Talia Wolf from Get Uplift. Now, Talia is a CRO expert. She runs her own business at Get Uplift and works with some really big companies, and has seen a lot through the years of conversion rate optimization, landing page optimization, traffic optimization. There's a lot of optimizations going on, which is kind of baked into the CRO thing, although it's not only about conversion rate optimization. But she really talks about a topic that is counterintuitive to what men believe marketing is all about, emotions. But she has pretty convincingly put up a case on why you need emotions for optimizing your business or your website. And that's, I think, what all men can still learn from. It's not all about the data. It's maybe also about the emotions to produce that good data. So she really gives...
Emotions are data too, yes.
She really gives some actionable stuff there. So it's not just like blah, blah. It's really actionable stuff, really great presentation. You should definitely check that out. Coming up here as the third talk, so just about 2.5 hours from now. And then last but not least, we have Peter O'Neill. Peter O'Neill is best known as the founder or co-founder of Measure Camp, a unconference running all over the world, now also available in the US. And this is where you go if you want to learn more about analytics. If you are lucky enough that there is a Measure Camp in your country, you can go to the next one. I have often visited one in London. Extra flew over there. Don't know how this will be with Brexit, so I haven't been there since. But those are really great conferences where everybody can speak and people share. And yeah, let me know if in the chat if you have attended one of the unconferences of Measure Camp before. But this time Peter, who has deep knowledge in the whole analytics spectrum of Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager and so on, and has worked with some really big organizations as well, will tell us about his framework for retail analytics. So not only about the fundamentals that you need to set up, but fundamentally also thinking about which stage your business is in that you are working with, and what they should build up in order to get to that data-driven or data-informed decision making that is so vital for really getting value out of your analytics. So this is something anybody who runs with an e-commerce store or is working with an e-commerce store can really look forward to getting some new insights there as well. So this is what's coming up today. We have first Leah Pika, then Aaron Seferati, then Stockton Fisher, then Talia Wolf and Peter O'Neill. I know it's a bit moved around. Maybe tomorrow we can do this a little bit better there as well. So this is what we're going to be hearing of in just about, we are here at 40 minutes, I guess. We'll be hearing. But let's look into the chat. We had some cool chat messages here as well. So should definitely consider if you target market is iOS users. Yes, the Facebook conversion API, if that's your thing, then you should look at it. iOS, who's using iPhone here? And then Anders says he tried to copy as a POC type implementation. What is POC?
Yeah. Proof of concept.
Proof of concept. Okay. Just SST, so server-side tagging, no Facebook browser tag. Really looking forward to Stockton. Yes, we'll see if Stockton can enlighten us all even further.
And I believe that both Leah and Stockton are going to be in the chat as well, answering questions. Okay. So they should be here live during the presentation answering too. So definitely keep all the questions there. Did we also mention the live attendee survey to make sure everybody filled that out already?
Oh, okay, yeah. If you are new here and haven't filled that out yet, we let me just pull this up here as well. We have a live attendee survey that you can fill out under MeasureSummit.com/live. You'll be able to go through a little bit of a form, and then we have a cool dashboard that you can already take a look at, which is at MeasureSummit.com/dashboard, which we will have up and running there as well. So this is something.
So that dashboard will change. So yeah, as more and more people fill. But it reminded me when you were asking, like, who's got iOS? I'm like, that's in the dashboard. We can go find out who's got iOS and Android. Which I think roughly is practically 50-50, essentially. I know there's definitely an other box in there as well, but mostly it seems to be split down the middle. It's also interactive. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but you can click on it. So we made it interactive. So
Oh, your sound is gone. Mercer is gone for a second here. I'm actually going to switch over to my screen here. So you can... you're back. Now you're back, Mercer. I just switched over to the screen, so you'll be able to talk. We can look at the survey here, although... Yeah, damn, it's too big for the screen. Let me see if I can make this a bit bigger. Then everybody can see this still.
And it should be interactive. So if you click on bits and pieces of this, it should, see like a certain company size or something like that, which it was kind of what we wanted to do, be able to slice and dice, learn more about each other and kind of what the MeasureSummit community is all about.
Right.
Again, size, job titles, device types we're using. We could probably put in there some other favorite tools, things like that. Might be a cool little thing to share. I think a tool chest would be a really cool thing to build.
So I'm just pulling this up because the screen is actually too small. It should be responsive, right? Normally it is. So I'm going to
Data Studio. Yeah.
Well,
or should be.
It's not for me right now, but it's for free at least.
Everyone,
that was the consent in the in the chat yesterday. It's for free. So
these are our good ideas where we're like 15 minutes before showtime. We're like, how about we do this?
Yeah.
And so this is where this came from. But we figured, you know what? Good enough to get going. You got to get your implementations out there, get the minimal viable product. If it lands, if it makes sense, then we can make it better next year. That's kind of how we're gonna roll with some of this stuff. And let us know, like, if you like stuff like this, what was the best part of MeasureSummit? We'll ask you again at the end of MeasureSummit when we do the final survey. But think about that. Like, let us know, like, hey, I really like this stuff, or maybe you guys could add this or try that. Because there's some really good ideas. The first year we've done the crowdsourced notes as well. I'm happy with that. That seems to be working out really well.
Yeah. So just about the dashboard again. You can go over to MeasureSummit.com/dashboard and you'll get access to this dashboard so you can view it. And here's also the live link. So if you want to fill out the survey, if you haven't yet, please don't duplicate your data. We all know the duplicate data issues. And then this will be built from directly from this. So we have people from the United States joining us, from France, from Germany, Poland. Europe is here. We even have Australians. I guess Kai is now here from Malaysia as well. We have some people from Vietnam that joined us at MeasureSummit 2021. And here we can also see how big is the company you currently work for. Right now it's under 10. Is a 66. Yeah, I guess it's the accumulation of it. So not 66%, but 66 people answered that. We have a pie chart going on. Most of the people come from agencies with 37%. Which job role? Team member. Most of the people are team members. And primarily strategy or implementation, or both. Both strategy and implementation. We have people who are mainly intermediate. So that's great to see. And not so many beginners. Interesting. And then the desktop, which operating system are you using? Windows with 60%. And when you are on mobile, which Mercer is, which operating system do you use? And it's Android. So, well, Android 51%. So iPhone is 46%. And then there are people with Android OS, iPhone OS. What's the difference between Android OS and Android?
No, yeah, this is where we'll go back. Like, typically what we would do is go back and obviously clean up our data. None of that is happening right now. Right. So it's more just like, get it there, let's visualize it, see what happens. But obviously,
And the cool thing about data studios as well, if we click here on United States, it will filter the report on only people who are from the United States. So you can see here 14 people. If anything changes,
I would imagine that iOS would be more in the US too.
Let me see down here. Yeah, the iPhone, 60% iPhone in the US. Interesting. And 60% Windows user. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I would have thought Windows would have dropped a little bit, but I guess business users.
So Americans can afford the iPhone, but they can't afford the Mac. So we are still the privileged here.
Exactly.
Okay. So the other thing that Mercer,
just set that at the top. everybody knows you can. So when you play with it, you said if no one's used Data Studio for this, and it just is another cool example of things you can do with Data Studio, which I thought was another way we could kind of. This is my
and the
our
other
stakeholders.
thing we wanted to point out just before the talk starts in 15 minutes here is go over to MeasureSummit.com/notes, and you will be redirected to a little document here that everybody can edit. Everybody has edit access. We have, it doesn't say for me because I'm not logged in, or does it up here? We have almost 50 people in here right now. And we are all editing the doc, so please don't delete anything useful. We have some memes going on. Not sure why I'm green here, and Mercer is all right. Some more notes for some other people, and this is where we drop everything in. So we're looking forward to filling up this document even further. Where is Leah's? Here. Leah Pika. So you'll see.
We should mention our second stage speakers as well. So making sure that everybody, because second stage notes will also be in there. If anyone has notes on the second stage speakers, you can put them in there too.
Some people will ask, where can we find the second stage? So this is actually something you can find here on the live streaming page. I'm not live right now with my video, but on the right side, you have the schedule. And we have the Leah Pika today, and then Aaron, and then Stockton. But underneath our last speaker, which is Peter O'Neill, we have already a talk from Brian Clifton. Is this already published? Let me just...
Not yet. It will be as soon as we go live with Leah. We will replace out all the videos and we'll unlock them all. So remember, second stage is basically just all day long they're available. So they're not timed out and broadcast live on the main stream that you're watching now. But they will be, as soon as Leah's goes live, within a few minutes of that, we'll unlock all of those so you can watch those kind of on demand for the full 24 hours. Also remember, we'll start to lock down day one. So if anybody hasn't watched day one, now's the time to get in there and watch anything that you want to watch there, because that's going to be locked down and then only available at that point for all access pass members. So if you want to get an all access pass, that will then unlock day one for you. But otherwise, you've got day two for a full 24 hours, so it can rotate through the time zones of the world. Everybody can watch it as many times as you want.
And you may have seen this little message that popped up down here. This is just a short link that you can click to go directly to whatever we are talking about right now. And just pay attention to this little thing once it pops up, or ignore it if you don't want to see it. Okay, let's go back to the chat here. We have some chat interaction. People are joining probably for Leah Pika's talk just in a few minutes here is coming up. Let me just see what is interesting. Oh, Stockton is here as well. Great to have you, Stockton. And he's already giving pro tips to everybody.
No.
My image wasn't showing up yesterday in the chat, and I just had to add it again in my profile. Oh, yeah. So that's something you can do as well. So you are up on screen here with Mercer and me as well. So... oh yeah, Julie says I can also grab the yellow guy and drop him on the map. But yeah, that's something we save for later once we do another demo there. Jason says, you guys need to slow down. I'm still typing up notes from last year. We'll see how that will go.
That's awesome.
And Miroslav is here as well. Miroslav will be presenting as well. Great to see you, Miroslav, here. Tomorrow, he's the first one tomorrow. Pitfalls of MarTech, some surprising results of Google Ads. So that's coming up tomorrow if you want to see Miroslav, or if you have already some questions there as well. Now is the point for people who are joining, right? They are asking the most important question of the day. What the hell is going on with Mercer? Why is he in a car? Do you want to enlighten us?
Sure. So, roughly 40 minutes, maybe a half hour before we officially kind of go into the pre-show, which starts about an hour right before the main event, I lost power. Yay, Texas Grid. So we lost power. We lost everything. So I'm scrambling around trying to get stuff. We have some things on battery backup, but It unfortunately just stayed longer than power was. We were told now it's going to be out for like 6 hours. So I have to figure out backup sources. So I've decided we're going to do remote broadcast. We're traveling live now for Measure Summit Live. I am doing the first official Measure Summit live event. It's just me, and then Junko is actually next to me. Many of you have reached out to Junko with support questions, things like that. She's helping in the background still answer a bunch of those and keep things running. But that is why, because I've lost power. So I'm out there scraping off, in this case, currently Starbucks Wi-Fi in the parking lot of a Starbucks. And I'm wondering, it's like you were saying, I could be like that YouTuber with the Instagram, like, oh, look at my life. Like here's what it looks like. And because everyone else around me has no idea that we're broadcasting to like, 10,000 people plus, at this point, registered. So it's, this is what's happening. This is why I'm in my car, and I cannot wait to get power back
Nathan,
so I can go back. 3 monitors in front of me. I miss my monitors so bad right now.
Nathan is saying, imagine that the German internet is working better than the US internet. I wouldn't vouch for that. I wouldn't vouch for that. Mercer just needs to go to the Googleplex and probably. Yeah.
With power,
although I must say, the power went out for the first time in my life in Germany last year. At some point, there was like few hours it was out, and I couldn't believe. I live in a big city. I live in Berlin, so I couldn't believe that this actually happens in Germany. I experienced it in other countries before, but yeah, that's how it is. Sivansaka asks, where can I see the day 1 presentations? You can go to the speaker profile. So on the right side, you have the schedule. Go back to day 1 and click on your favorite speaker. And if we have the slides, not everybody gave us the slides, you will have the slides right there, or look into the speaker notes or the crowdsourced notes at measureschool.com/notes.
Yep. And you should also see the speaker sessions as a top navigation in the
you can also go
pages
through that.
And then you'll see all the speakers. And again, we'll unlock them as they will come up, and then we'll lock them back down after a full day 1. So remember, it's only 24 hours. So within the hour or so, we'll start locking.
Li Feringo says, I hope you're all finding yourselves well. Today's agenda looks quite exciting. So Mercer is quite well in his car, in his Lamborghini, in his Measuremobile.
It's a Volkswagen. You can appreciate that being in Germany.
True. No Tesla?
businesses.
No Tesla? Okay.
Tesla.
And you can also check out all the other talks. We are just 8 minutes away from Leah Pika's talk on the Pika protocol. So really excited about this one. We want to see the notes going and discussions in the chat. And I also want to point out one thing that we did yesterday quite successfully, I must say, is the one thing. So if you don't know what one thing is, Mercer, can you explain?
Yes. So the hashtag one thing. So we're going to use that for prizes. So make sure you put hashtag one thing and then what your learning is from the different presentations that our speakers are going, because there's so much to measurement. There's a lot of moving pieces. We all know that it can feel complicated, overwhelming, sometimes frustrating if you try to learn too much at a time when you have that fire hose of data that comes at you, right? All this information coming at you, all these new cool things. So just separate them out and be like, this is the one thing I'm going to take action on. This is the one thing that I heard differently or in a slightly unique way where it's like, that really landed for me. This is the thing I can take action on. That's what we want to put in the chat rooms. Just put hashtag one thing as it happens. So 2 reasons. One is because you take notes on it and helps you integrate a little bit more, but also helps our speakers know, like, this is the thing that really made sense to them, that they found valuable in part of the sessions. Also, speaking of, there was also going to be feedback links. You'll see those in the speaker sessions. Julian and I will be posting those in chat as well. And that is so as the speaker is finishing up, we're going to ask you to give them feedback personally. If you haven't done it for all the day 1 speakers, you'll see all the day 1 speakers back there. And then, of course, the day 2 speakers will be available as we go through and do that with the feedback survey itself. But that lets the speaker know how well they did. Like, do you want them back for next year? How valuable was the content for you? How actionable? Different question, right? Valuable, number 1, is like cool ideas, but maybe too much theory, not enough actionable stuff. So you get to help them understand that. And then also, what did you really like about that presentation? What's something that you want to hear differently maybe next time from them? And then other feedback. And the speakers, I know Julian and I both speaking and working with all the speakers that we have for MeasureSummit, they love this feedback. It is completely anonymous. And so you don't have to worry about anybody tracing it back to you. Just be honest. Even if it's brutal, good, bad, or indifferent, it's important that the speakers have access to that. And they want to be able to see that, because it's data, right? We use our data to feed back into our systems to then optimize. And in their case, to optimize their sessions for you. So I just want to mention as well.
Fred says here, it looks like my image is mirrored. That is true. I mirrored the image because then I'm looking actually on Mercer when I look at the screen. And then also when I switch over to the screen, I'm always looking this side. Otherwise, I would need to move my screens. Unfortunately, the MeasureSummit logo is now also mirrored. So sorry for the vertigo if that's going on. I wanted to also mention, and this is something that is looking forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Simo Ahava joining us, and this will be a Q&A session. So if you have a question for Simo already, we would love for you to pre-submit them. Just head over to MeasureSummit.com/Simo and leave your question in there. We also love to get a video from you, because then we can also show you live here on screen, and that would be even more engaging. So if you have a question and if you want to be on screen, then record a short video in Loom, for example, send it over there and put the link in there, and then we have you on screen tomorrow with Simo Ahava. You will be on the same stage as Simo. Isn't that exciting? Okay, we are about on time right now. I'm really looking forward to our next session here, which will be Leah Pika, and we'll see if Mercer will be back for a second round on the phone. But we'll take a short bio break and then see you again with Leah Pika live here at MeasureSummit 2021.
Welcome back to Measure Summit 2021. I am so very excited for our next session because she is a returning champion. That's right, Leah Pika is back. She presented at Measure Summit 2020, is now about to present for Measure Summit 2021. She is a data analyst turned data storytelling advocate who teaches thousands of data and marketing practitioners, such as yourselves, how to present data and inspire action. She hosts the popular podcast Present Beyond Measure Show. She blogs at leahpika.com and is a frequent headliner at live and, of course, virtual conferences all around the globe. Leah is the creator of the Data Presentation plus Storytelling Bootcamp and the Pika Protocol. That is her practical prescription for delivering story-driven data that informs decisions, sparks ideas, and drives change. And it's what she's about to talk about, which I cannot wait. She is currently authoring her first data storytelling book, launching in early 2022. Welcome back to Measure Summit 2021, Leah Pika.
Oh my gosh, Mercer, thank you so much for that invigorating introduction. I might ask you for a guest spot for re-recording the intro of my podcast. Maybe
I'm in. Count me in. It's a done deal.
Well, thank you so much for welcoming me back. This is by far, one of my favorite virtual events to speak at. It's amazing, all of the content you have here. So I'm really honored to be part of the lineup. And I want to welcome you to one of my signature talks, the Pika Protocol, which Mercer mentioned, a prescription for healthy, actionable data stories. So I want to kick this off and talk about a phrase that everyone can't stop talking about right now, and that is data storytelling, right? That's what this whole talk is about. And